Well, welcome to Afternoons on 11. I'm your host, April Simpson. Today we're talking about something that's rarely discussed, yet it's picking up steam in the United States and right here in St. Louis. I'm talking about sex trafficking.
The bars that are on your windows are totally mental and emotional. It's a source of power, and they scare you and they convince you into thinking that they are all powerful and that they can control you, and that's what it is. It's a game of control.
Sex trafficking, being forced or coerced into the commercial sex trade against your will. It's a dangerous, dirty world that victim Cathy Summers knows all too well, being exposed to the crime as a child.
Her pimp basically owned all of us, and so once he owned us, he did everything, whatever he wanted to do with us. So it meant, childhood prostitution, child pornography, drugs.
Sex trafficking happens at much larger rates than most people realize or even understand. But once you're involved, you can get out.
You can recover to wholeness, health, hope, love, peace. All of those things are possible.
All right, now let's welcome Cathy Summers to the show. Cathy, thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Just starting out, how did you get involved in sex trafficking?
Probably the rarest form. My own mother was introduced all of us. So the story is, it started for me when I was 5 years old, and my mother left my father in an ugly divorce and went to make it on her own, and she only had gone through 7th grade in school, so she didn't have much of an education, so she went into prostitution. When she became involved with her pimp and started living with him, we all moved in with him, and I think that she really didn't know. She was sort of more naive to it than anything, but when we moved in with him, he became our pimp too and sold us.
How many are we talking about? How many siblings?
I have 2 siblings, an older brother and an older sister. So we were all trapped. We were all slaves for 2 years.
So when we say sex trafficking, explain to the audience and to our viewers, what exactly does that mean?
That means that you are you're sold. You're basically property, and you're passed around. It is
passed around for sex?
Yes, yeah. The main way that we were transferred and sold was we were at the heart of the trucking industry, and so we were taken all over the place all the time, and he would take us to parties, and I don't know how much you want me to say, but taken to parties and passed around like an hors d'oeuvre.
You mean like 5-year-old kids?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there were people that were there
Lots.
Specifically for the children?
Lots.
Is this in St. Louis?
No, this was in, he traveled us from Florida through all the states, southern states to California and back again.
So it seems like there was sort of a network set up.
Oh yes, yeah, very much so. There's lots of communication, lots of, it's just like the Underground Railroad. I mean, it is our day and time. This is our Underground Railroad. There's $32 billion made from sex trafficking.
So pretty much it was okay for your mother to allow her 5-year-old daughter to have sex with grown men?
She was drugged most of the time.
Okay.
She was, and he specifically targeted her to, he would drug her until to the point of passing out. He would convince us that she was dead, and as a source of control and fear and power over our minds, and then say that he was going to bring her back to life, and she would revive from the drugs, and he would say, this is what I can do to you. So it is a complete entrapment of the mind. So many times people say, well, gosh, if that was me, I would just, as soon as I got free, I'd just straight to the police station, or I would, go tell someone. Why didn't you tell a teacher? You feel like their power is so far-reaching that it's not even human. So out of fear is the real prison.
Now, you're 5. How old are your other siblings at this time?
My brother's 2 years older than me, and my sister is 2 years older than him. So 7 and 9.
Oh, so you were little kids just dealing with that.
Right.
Where was your father?
Well, she left him
Right,
and didn't
okay.
tell him where she was going. And for the 2 years that we were there and enslaved, he told us that he was looking for us the whole time, but he was in Texas, where I was born and raised to that point. You know, he said he couldn't find us until finally, I think my mother sobered up enough to see what was really happening and see through the lies and, you know, all of the stuff that he was having her believe, to call my father's mother to come in and rescue us.
Okay. Many years later, this has happened. How did you move on? 'Cause that's traumatic.
Lots of counseling.
Yeah.
About probably 20 years of counseling and just really seeking out a better way. I knew there was a better way. I've always known that there was more for me and that I had a purpose. God would not have given this to me if I couldn't handle it and move on and be more and find my purpose. So it's been a process of seeking, just, you know, seeking. And then once I discovered art, that was it for me. I was...
It was sort of an outlet for you.
Absolutely, an expression, a way to release the darkness that you feel, and you can just work it out. You can put it, it doesn't matter what it looks like, it matters what it feels like, and just to rid yourself of that, that's the key.
And we're going to be looking at some of your art a little later. So where are all the other people, like your other siblings, your mom and the man, where are they now?
I don't know. I've been estranged from my mother for about 20 years,
Right.
and my birth dad died. So, and the man that was specifically responsible for all this, I have no idea. I don't care to know.
Right.
You know, I've worked way too hard to forgive and move on, to be concerned about where he is now.
Right. And you're doing a great job. Great job.
Thank you.